The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look at my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Friday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. If you're in the market for a brand new or slightly used automobile, before you make that commitment, and well, let's face it, if you're not a small business owner, the two biggest commitments that you're going to make in your lifetime, if you purchase a home, that is commitment number one, the biggest of which. The second one is the car. It's a pretty big commitment, especially if money doesn't grow on trees in your life. So before you make that very large commitment to purchase a new or slightly used automobile, you need to check out the good folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. They've got a tremendous sales department, terrific finance department, and a service department that is second to none. Add it all up, it means you have a great, great dealership. Before you make that commitment, check out the good folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. This evening on the network, if you're not going to be watching any of the basketball games, and Lord knows we got plenty of them, WRS Wealth Advisors presenting Open Look. Mike Ackelson and the boys will be busy in the studios at YSN. They'll be having all kinds of fun. That'll be coming up this evening at 7 o'clock. On the network right now as we speak, we have the Joshua Hepner Memorial Wrestling Tournament going on. That started, about 2 or 3 minutes ago. Late this afternoon, junior high boys basketball from Edison, as Steubenville will be taking on Edison this afternoon in junior high basketball. All right, here's your boys basketball schedule for tonight. All of these games will start at 7 o'clock. Keep in mind the JV games are at 5:30, so depending on how fast the JV game is, the games could start a little before 7. They could start a little after 7. Beaver Local will be hosting Edison. Cheney is hosting Grand River. Columbiana home to Wellsville. Crestview home to Matthews. Springfield will take the journey to Jackson Milton. East Palestine goes to Leetonia. Louisville will host Cardinal Mooney. So Mooney will take a drive out into the Canton suburbs on 62 as they take on Louisville. Mineral Ridge hosting Western Reserve. Newton Falls will be hosting the AUSY team. South Range ventures to Niles. Girard will venture to Poland. Waterloo is at Sebring. East is at Ursuline. Lisbon takes a trip to Youngstown to take on Valley Christian. And finally, Boardman will travel to Beloit to take on West Branch. That could be a sneaky good game. All of those games starting at 7 o'clock tonight, and all of those games are on the network. And if you're not planning on watching any basketball games tonight, well, you can certainly go to Open Look. That is our show. Mike Ackelson and the fellas here in the YSN studios, the Palacios Palace, otherwise known as the YSN Studios in East Palestine. WRS Wealth Advisors sponsoring Open Look tonight starting at 7 o'clock on YSN. Before we get into the basketball games that were played last night, and some pretty good basketball games, we would certainly be very, very remiss if we did not talk about the passing of arguably one of the greatest baseball players of all time, and Henry Aaron. Aaron, you can make the argument that Henry Aaron might have been the most underrated Hall of Famer ever. Consider this, if you will. Henry Aaron hit 755 career home runs. Now, for a lot of people that are not too thrilled with the steroid era, there are plenty of people that believe Henry Aaron still holds the Major League Baseball record for most home runs in a career. I am not one of them. Barry Bonds broke that record. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, it happened, and it happened 14 years ago. But if you were to take away Henry Aaron's 755 home runs, Henry Aaron would still have over 3,000 career hits. He's the only guy in the history of Major League Baseball to have over 700 home runs and over 3,000 hits in his career. He is second all-time in home runs. He is first all-time in extra base hits, 1,477. He is first all-time in most runs batted in, 2,297. He is first all-time in total bases, 6,856. Now, one can argue that Aaron spent most of his career playing in a very hitter-friendly environment, and Fulton County Stadium was very much a hitter-friendly environment, as was his home in Milwaukee. Henry Aaron is one of the greatest of all time, and when you consider since October, here are the list of names that Major League Baseball has lost from the Baseball Hall of Fame since October. Bob Gibson, Tom Seaver, Whitey Ford, Phil Niekro, Don Sutton, who passed away earlier this week, Lou Brock, Al Kaline, Joe Morgan, Tommy Lasorda, and now Henry Aaron. You have an entire rotation of pitchers, the entire outfield, a second baseman, and a manager. Pretty safe to say that heaven is getting a really, really impressive baseball team going here since October. Just a sad news. Aaron was 86 years of age, passed away this morning. Great baseball player, an even better human being. He passes away today at the age of 86. And, for the city of Atlanta, earlier in the week, about a week or so ago, you lost Phil Niekro. Phil Niekro spent most of his career in Atlanta. Don Sutton spent most of his retired baseball life as a Braves broadcaster. He did spend some time in Atlanta pitching for the Braves, but he was probably more known for the Braves in the broadcast booth. I mean, most of his playing career was spent in Los Angeles, but he was a longtime Braves broadcaster, and now a guy who is arguably the face of the franchise, if not the face of Major League Baseball, and Henry Aaron passing away. City of Atlanta's had a number of gut punches as far as baseball is concerned, but you lose one of the best of all time this morning with the passing of Henry Aaron. Thoughts and prayers to his family and to all of those in the Braves organization. What a wonderful, wonderful human being. All right, last night on the hardwood, I made mention of this earlier in the week, and this is something that most definitely needs to be celebrated. The Ursuline Irish went up to Cleveland, and they took on Cleveland Benedictine last night. Now, I've been mentioning this for the last couple of weeks and truth be told, it's been going on for a number of years. This area, not exactly respected in terms of our basketball from outside of the area. If you go to Canton, Akron, you go to Cleveland, you go to other places in northeastern Ohio, and the Youngstown Mahoning Valley has been behind these other areas. We're known more for football and baseball. That's our two sports. If you're looking for the major sports and with the boys in high school, baseball and football are the two sports where we have made some considerable inroads, not only locally, regionally, and statewide. We've done quite well for ourselves in football and baseball. Basketball, not so much. Now, there was a point in time many years ago when the city and the surrounding areas had a lot more people, that basketball was a very big-time sport where we celebrated state championships. Not all the time, but we celebrated state championships through the 60s, 70s, 80s, and even into the early 90s. There were some state championships won in boys basketball. But as of late, the area lost a tremendous amount of people post Black Monday, where 60% of this area left to find a better environment, better jobs, whatever reason. 60% of the area left, and this is a very small, condensed version of the Mahoning Valley, as in comparison to when the steel mills were up and cranking, and the area was thriving a whole lot more. Fast forward to today, and I've made mention of this many times. I came back to the area, I want to say 9 years ago, and 9 years ago, the basketball was borderline embarrassing around here. It was terrible, and I was the first to admit that it was terrible. Over the last 9 years, our basketball has gotten so much better, and we're still under the radar regionally and statewide. And I got no problems with that. I've actually embraced it this year, because sooner or later, there are going to be some teams outside of our area that are going to understand just how much better basketball has gotten in the Mahoning Valley. And last night was a classic example. Last night, Ursuline went up to Cleveland to take on Cleveland Benedictine. Now, Benedictine is more of a baseball program than it is a basketball program. Their parochial brothers on the other side of town, Villa Angela St. Joe's, that's the basketball factory. And earlier in the week, Struthers went up to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse and put a big-time beating on Cleveland St. Joe's. Last night, Ursuline went up to Cleveland and beat Benedictine by 13 points, 67-54. And don't look now, kids, but the Ursuline Irish, they're going to be a player in Division II. And listen, we sit here, we talk about Struthers, we talk about Cheney, we talk about Poland, we've talked about West Branch, we've talked about Salem, and there's a number of other teams in Division II that are going to be a lot of fun to watch. Ursuline is right up there. 10 games in the regular season left. Hopefully they're going to be able to play it before we get into the tournaments. But Ursuline gets a big victory last night in boys basketball. They knock off Benedictine 67-54. Congrats to Coach Gunther. Congrats to the Ursuline Irish. Fantastic. Just fantastic. A tremendous victory for the Ursuline Irish. And once again, you go out of town, go up into an area which in the last 10, 15 years has been better in basketball, and you go up and you beat a parochial school like Cleveland Benedictine. And again, they might be better known for their football than it is for their basketball, but their basketball program isn't no slouch. This is a good basketball team. And Ursuline knocked them out by 13 points. Good job. fantastic job for Ursuline. Girls basketball last night, Western Reserve picked up their 9th victory of the season. They're 6-1 in the Scarlet Tier in the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference. They knocked off Springfield 66-28. South Range picked up their 10th win of the season. They're undefeated in the NE8. They beat Niles 50-21. Poland won again. They beat Jefferson 52-19. Poland is 12-1, 6-0 in the Northeast 8. It's going to come down. The Northeast 8 is going to come down to Poland and South Range, and those two teams played each other early on. They had to cancel the game early in the week. Monday they were playing, and the unfortunate injury with Lampardi. And certainly our thoughts and prayers with the family, not only the Lampardi family, but the South Range family, and the program will be just fine. They'll still be a very good basketball team, and hopefully Izzy comes back before the tournaments, and hopefully she's at 100%. But South Range and Poland will play each other the 2 times before the regular season comes to a close. You can bank on that one. Brookfield getting a victory over Liberty. Second time these two teams played in less than a week. Brookfield getting their 8th victory of the season. They're now 5-1 in the gray tier, 2 games better than Liberty, who sits at 3-3, 4-4 overall. Champion picks up their 3rd victory of this season. They're just 3-1, and all of those games played in the gray tier. They knock off Crestview last night. Rebels have been struggling as of late. Crestview now 8-6 on the campaign. Champion knocks off Crestview last night, 46-34. Up in Champion. Hubbard, a 1-point winner over Lakeview. Both teams close to 500. Both teams now 2-4 in the Northeast 8. Jackson Milton got a victory over Mineral Ridge. Jackson Milton is 7-3 in the Scarlet Tier, 9-5 overall. That's a solid Jackson Milton team. And truth be told, if it weren't for Western Reserve and McDonald having some really, really good seasons, there would probably be a lot more conversation about Jackson Milton. 9-5 is nothing to sneeze at. 7-3 in the Scarlet Tier, considering the fact you're playing Western Reserve and McDonald 2 times each. Now, I don't believe they have played both of those teams 2 times each, but certainly a very good record. McDonald, we mentioned, they knocked off Waterloo last night, 79-42, and Harding upended Newton Falls. That's a good, if there is such a good thing as a loss, that's a good loss for Newton Falls. You take on a really good Harding team, and you only lose by 2 points. Harding knocks off Newton Falls by the score of 36-34. All right, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. If you want to chime in on what is going on in basketball, you want to chime in on the passing of Hank Aaron, you can certainly do so. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline is open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. I did want to mention Waterloo is hosting Sebring tonight. Wellsville is hosting Columbiana. I do apologize for the 2 mistakes there. Columbiana is not home. They're on the river. They are going to Wellsville, and Waterloo is going to be hosting Sebring. So my apologies on those 2 games. All right, 330-886-0813. We'll take a timeout, be back with more. It is a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Back in a bit.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters.
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
Telling more local stories.
We'll look at efforts
Boy is recovering from a broken
around our valley.
Good afternoon. We are here in Youngstown, right up.
Because you expect
Important for everyone. No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County
Before
Court.
they become life-threatening.
21 News is our Valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car we're looking for, they have tremendous inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Local teams are heating up the hardwoods, and you can keep up with all the action on and off the court with Five Guys Hoop News all season long on 21 Sports.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Presented, of course, by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. If you are in the market for a brand new or slightly used automobile, you certainly need to make the trip to Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Youngstown. Now, let me put it to you this way. I'm not saying you buy your stuff. Here's what I will say. Before you make the commitment Now, obviously, we want you to purchase your brand new or slightly used automobile at Greenwood Chevrolet, but before you make your commitment to purchase that brand new car or slightly used car, give the folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown an opportunity to win your business. It's all you need is an opportunity. Believe me, if you go there, you're going to be wowed by everything. You'll absolutely be wowed by everything. So do yourself a favor before you make that commitment to purchase a brand new car or a slightly used car. And hey, I mean, if you win the Mega Millions tonight, you can buy a whole fleet of cars. But neither here nor there. Before you make that commitment, certainly check out the good folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. I got to ask, of all the games that we have on the docket tonight, and there's a lot of games on the docket tonight. And by the way, if you're not going to be watching or tuning in to one of the games, you certainly need to go to ysnlive.com/openlook. WRS Wealth Advisors sponsoring Open Look. Mike Ackelson and the fellas here in the Palacia Studios, otherwise known as the YSN Studios in East Palestine. They will just essentially a look into some of the games that are going on tonight. And we got plenty of them going on tonight. Should be an awful lot of fun with all the games that are going to be on the docket tonight. And of all these games that are on the docket tonight, if I were to pick out a handful that I would be really, really interested in, obviously anytime Cheney plays, you have my attention. Anytime Cheney plays. So Grand River is going to Youngstown to take on Cheney. That'll be a fun game. The Matthews-Crestview game, that's a late addition to the schedule because Champion was supposed to host Crestview tonight, and for whatever reason, that game is not being played. So the athletic director over at Crestview, Paul Cusick, immediately getting a substitute for Champion. So the Rebels will go out of conference to take on Matthews tonight at Rebels Gymnasium. Larry Scragg will have the broadcast for tonight's game from Rebels Gymnasium. Louisville Cardinal Mooney is a sneaky good game tonight. And both teams in the YSN family. Cardinal Mooney will take the trip. And I misspoke when I said take the trip to 62. That's where St. Thomas Aquinas is. Louisville is, you can go on 62 and then you drop out of 62 and take the Louisville exit and then go into town. Mooney and Louisville will be a sneaky good game tonight. That'll be a fun game. The Ursuline East game could be entertaining. Now I know East hasn't started their season off very well, and Ursuline is coming off the big victory over Benedictine. They'll be playing back to back, so one of the reasons why I think this game could very well be interesting is the fact that Ursuline will be playing their second consecutive game. Yesterday they knocked off Benedictine 67-55, so we'll see if Ursuline's legs can continue to run up and down the court for 32 minutes. I'm sure Coach Gunther is going to have that bench all set and ready to go. Really, really good game potentially tonight. And this is the one that actually these last two games have my attention. These last two games, probably the two best games that have my attention. Division 4, Lisbon will travel to Valley Christian. Now, if you're not familiar where Valley Christian High School is, it's located on Southern Boulevard. It's very close to the Southern Boulevard and Midlothian Boulevard intersection. The intersection of Southern Boulevard and Midlothian Boulevard at the corner used to be the old Pleasant Grove Presbyterian Church. And for those that wondering, that's the church that I grew up in. My first 8 years when we lived in Boardman, that was the church that I went to. Neither here nor there. A little trivia for everyone, I guess. Valley Christian purchased that church from the Presbyterian. I don't even know who owned I know Pleasant Grove Presbyterian Church was that was the name of the church, but Valley Christian purchased that church, and that's where their, I think, K through third or fourth graders are going to that particular school. But if you go further down Southern Boulevard, heading back toward Columbiana County, we'll make it a little bit closer, heading back toward Western Reserve, same side of same area, but you're heading now toward Western Reserve Road. The school is about a half a mile, maybe three-quarters of a mile, somewhere in that vicinity, further up the road toward Western Reserve. That's where the Valley Christian School is located, and they will be hosting Lisbon tonight. Both of these teams are not only battling for supremacy in the EOAC, but these two teams are both going to be pretty high seeds in the D4 tournament. When we get the tournament draw, and again, we're 99% sure that the Struthers and the Grand Valley districts will be doing this. They'll have those two districts combined into one supersized district, and then you'll see the teams top to bottom and go from there. It's not going to surprise me if Lisbon and Valley Christian are two of the top 5 or two of the top 6 seeds when this is all said and done. Both of these schools have an outstanding basketball program, and they will play each other. I believe this is the second meeting between the two. I could be wrong. I want to say earlier in the year Valley Christian played Lisbon, but like I said, I could be wrong on this. Lisbon going to Valley Christian, take on Valley Christian. It'll be a fun game to watch. And then the other one, and I kudos to West Branch for scheduling this one. And again, West Branch is one of those teams. We've talked about Struthers. We've talked about Cheney. Ursuline with an impressive victory over a Cleveland team in Benedictine last night to move their record to 8-4. West Branch is a really good basketball team. West Branch is one of those teams that they can get after it, and they have a solid program. They host Boardman tonight, and I was looking at a couple of tweets. I always like looking at what the Northeastern Ohio, the basketball in Northeastern Ohio. I always love looking at that particular Twitter site because they normally give an awful lot of love to the teams in the Cleveland area and the Akron area and the Canton area, and they had a poll question as to which of the 4 games should we be covering the most, and they mentioned Boardman and West Branch as one of those 4 games. And Boardman West Branch got the second most votes. Now, actually, they just got passed. This concluded. Solon Medina got 27% of the vote. Boardman and West Branch got 25% of the vote. The winner in this was Brunswick at Menor. But the idea that Boardman and West Branch was able to get the third most votes in a poll in which the Twitter account mainly talks about Northeastern Ohio and rarely talks about the Mahoning Valley. I think that even the folks in northeastern Ohio are going to be looking at this. Outside of the Valley, I think there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to be looking at this game. They're going to be looking at this game wondering a couple of things. Number one, West Branch is a D2 program. Boardman is a D1 program. Now, Boardman is a bigger school than West Branch. But both of these programs are pretty solid. Boardman is, if I were to say, okay, which team do you think is going to win this game? I'd probably lean toward Boardman, even though the game is at West Branch. But this is a good game, and I think a lot of folks are going to, outside of this area, they're going to look and see, okay, how good is Boardman? This is a solid Division II program. How good is Boardman? Can they go into Beloit and get a convincing victory over West Branch? And you look at it on the flip side, all right, kudos to West Branch. They're scheduling a really good Division I team on their non-conference schedule. This is a solid game. No two ways about it. This is a solid game for West Branch. How solid is West Branch? Look, I get news for you. And like I said, we've been sitting back and talking about how good Struthers is and how good Cheney is. And rarely have we really given West Branch that opportunity to be in the same sentence as a Struthers and a Cheney. If West Branch beats Boardman tonight, even though the record may not be as impressive as a Struthers or they may not have the talent that Cheney has, that West Branch team now officially gets talked about in the same sentence with Struthers and Cheney if West Branch were to beat Boardman tonight. I think this is a good game. I think this is an intriguing, very intriguing matchup. So when I look at the final list of games tonight that we're going to be having on the network, the two that stick out in my mind are the Lisbon Valley Christian game at Valley Christian High School. I think that's just going to be a dogfight from start to finish. It's a league game, but more importantly, it's a game between two really good Division IV programs in our area. And the Boardman West Branch game, if for Boardman you knock off West Branch, okay, you're knocking off one of the 3 or 4 best teams in our area in Division II, and if you do it impressively, now you get a lot more credibility from those outside of the area. Likewise for West Branch. If West Branch were to upend Boardman tonight, I think everyone in the area is going to seriously take notice if West Branch upends Boardman. More importantly for the region, I think anyone outside of the area, they're going to look at this game. This is a game that's drawing an awful lot of interest outside of the Mahoning Valley. I'm going to be real curious the reaction of those people in the Canton area, the Akron area, the Cleveland area. This is going to be a solid test for West Branch. And again, a West Branch victory, their credibility, for lack of a better term, goes through the roof. It just goes through the roof. All right, news just breaking in football. Antonio Brown, former Steeler wide receiver, he is out for the NFC Championship game in Lambeau. He suffered a knee injury in the victory against New Orleans. He is out for the NFC Championship game as Tampa Bay will go to Lambeau to take on the Green Bay Packers. No Antonio Brown. I'll be real curious to see what that does line-wise to affect the game. I heard something pretty interesting this morning as I was taking care of some things that Buffalo and Kansas City right now, I'll tell you right now, the lines in both of these games, Green Bay is a 3.5-point favorite and Kansas City is a 3-point favorite over Buffalo. That Buffalo-Kansas City line is probably going to go up 1 to 2 points. It's perceived that Mahomes is going to play on Sunday. Game starts at, 6:40. It's perceived that Mahomes is going to play this game. He had full practice yesterday. I would imagine he's going to have a full practice today. It's perceived that once the inevitable is, hey, Patrick Mahomes is playing this game, I think that number is going to go up 1 or 2 more points. And if you're if you're someone who might be interested in putting some shekels down on Buffalo, albeit legally, and editorial comment, can't do it legally in Ohio, although you can drive to West Virginia, and we here in Columbiana County, you just take Route 11 all the way down to East Liverpool, cross over the Newell Bridge, go to Mountaineer, and do what you need to do, or you can go into Pennsylvania and do what you need to do. Either way. Pennsylvania has it legally. West Virginia has it legally. Michigan, as of today, has it legally. And we here in Ohio don't have it legally. Whatever. My guess is Saturday or Sunday, this line is going to get moved up a couple of points. So if you are thinking of betting Buffalo in Sunday's game against Kansas City, you might want to hold off on that till Saturday or Sunday, because I have a sneaking suspicion that line is going to be 5 by the time this game starts on Sunday night, which that's fine, because I think it's going to be a field goal either way to determine the outcome of this game. I really like Green Bay now. And right now the line's 3.5. I think Green Bay can beat Tampa Bay, and we'll see what happens in the NFC Championship game. We'll see what happens. I think Green Bay's playing better football, and interestingly enough, both of these games are a rematch of Week 6. Both of these games are a rematch from Week 6. Kansas City went into Buffalo and beat the Bills 26-14. Just stomped them in terms of running all over them. They ran for well over 200 yards against the Bills defense, which was missing Matt Milano in that game. Josh Allen was all kinds of banged up in that game as well. Tampa Bay blew out Green Bay 38-10 in Tampa and took advantage of just a ton of turnovers by Green Bay in that game. So both of these games are rematches from earlier in the season, a couple of routes. And yeah, Buffalo did get routed by Kansas City. The final score didn't indicate it, but and Buffalo could have put the game into overtime, but again, this was one-sided affair, even though the score would not indicate it in the game between Buffalo and Kansas City. It was a one-sided affair. And Tampa Bay throttled Green Bay. I think that the tables are about to be turned in both of these games. I like Green Bay and Buffalo to go to the Super Bowl, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But again, Antonio Brown is out, officially out for the NFC Championship game. His knee injury that he suffered against New Orleans, he just wasn't responding, wasn't able to get to practice, and he is now listed as out for Sunday's NFC title game. All right, 330-886-0813. 330-886-0813. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. If you got a basketball game you're looking to see tonight, whether it be on the network, if you're going in person to see a game, if you're not going to see a game in person, we certainly invite you to watch one of our many, many games on the network. And, of course, you don't have to pay anything thanks to the very, very nice contribution from WRS Wealth Advisors. They essentially gave a very nice contribution, which in essence gave us an opportunity to give you, the fans, an opportunity to see every single game, no charge. So it would be like watching, or not watching, it would be like hearing the broadcasts, which we did up until this year on YSN. Now we have the video. Because of COVID, we decided to do video when COVID became a horrible theme to the 2020 sports scene. And because of COVID and because of the fact that only 15% of whatever capacity you had in football, it was our decision to say, well, we'll just provide video and everyone can see this. Not a problem. And charge the pay-per-view, and 25% of that goes to the school that you're following. Well, in this basketball season, nobody has to pay $9.99 or whatever price because of a very wealthy contribution from WRS Wealth Advisors. So if you want to watch any of the games on the network tonight, it's no charge. If you're not looking to watch any games on the network tonight, you can certainly tune in to Open Look. Mike Ackelson and the boys will provide you all of the latest in what is going on in the YSN family in high school basketball tonight on ysnlive.com. So if you're going to a game tonight, let me know which game you're going to. If you're planning on watching a game tonight on YSN, give me an idea what you're planning on watching tonight. If you want to talk about the AFC or the NFC championship game, have at it. The passing of Hank Aaron. Again, one of the greats of all time. No two ways about it. He is, he's going to be missed. He is absolutely going to be missed. And consider, since October, boy, the Baseball Hall of Fame has just seen all kinds of losses. These are the Hall of Famers that have passed away. You have an entire pitching rotation that's passed away. Bob Gibson, Tom Seaver, Whitey Ford, Phil Niekro, Don Sutton. You got an entire outfield. Lou Brock, Al Kaline, now Henry Aaron. You got a second baseman in Joe Morgan, and you got a manager in Tommy Lasorda. I mean, since October, 10 Hall of Famers, 10 members of the Baseball Hall of Fame have passed away in the last, 3 months, 4 months? Ugh. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. And Henry Aaron losing his life today at the age of 86. And this, one of my favorite statistics. If you subtract Henry Aaron's 755 home runs, he still has over 3,000 career hits. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Great baseball player, one of the greatest of all time, and certainly one of the most underrated Hall of Famers ever, one of the most underrated baseball players ever. Made mention, he's number one on the list in most RBI, number one on the list in most total bases, number two in home runs. What is he, number 3 or number 4 in hits? Incredible, absolutely incredible. But enough with the passing away of legends in baseball. Good Lord, 10 of them in the last 3 or 4 months. That's good night. It's an awful lot, and people that I watched as a kid. Bob Gibson, I think he pitched till 74, 75. I mean, he and Aaron were both in that era along with Seaver. Whitey Ford goes back the era before. I don't think I ever saw Whitey Ford pitch. I saw Gibson and Seaver pitch toward the end of their career. I actually covered Phil Niekro toward the end of his career. Saw Don Sutton pitch. Saw Brock, Kaline, Morgan, Henry Aaron. Kaline and Brock were toward the tail end of their careers. Morgan, I saw most of his career. He was such a great player and such a spark plug for the Reds, and he was the missing piece when the Reds became that dynasty franchise in the mid-'70s, the Big Red Machine. They had gone to a World Series in '72. They lost to the Athletics, and missing was Joe Morgan. So they went out and they got Joe Morgan, and a couple of years later, 3 years later, they were back into the World Series, and this time they beat the Red Sox in 7. In '75, they swept the Yankees in '76. They were fun. They were fun to watch. And then Tommy Lasorda, just an unbelievably gifted manager, and a great ambassador to the game. And all of these people have passed away since October. Really, really sad what Major League Baseball has seen with its Hall of Fame players passing away. 10 now in the last 4 months. Crazy. All right, 330-886-0813. We'll take a timeout, be back with more. It is a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Back in a bit.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
High-res Futurecast shows steady snow for the next few hours.
Still just downright cold.
It is bitter out there.
Several strong bands of lake effect snow.
Wind is kind of the big story today as well.
So if you need a more detailed winter forecast on WFMJ.com and the Storm Tracker 21 app.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because
I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet
because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. If you're in the market for a brand new or slightly used automobile, before you make that commitment, do yourself a favor and go visit the good folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. They will treat you right, and they will earn your business, no doubt. All right, 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. We're with you till 3 o'clock. Plenty of games on the network tonight. We made mention the two games that I'm really interested in right now. The Valley Christian Lisbon game. That game is going to be played at Valley Christian High School. That's going to be a fun game to watch. And the other game that I think is going to be quite entertaining, West Branch hosting Boardman. West Branch hosting Boardman tonight. Both of those games will start somewhere around 7 o'clock. Again, 5:30, the JVs will get going. And like I said, with JVs, they basically are going to be determining where or how fast the varsity game starts. I mean, a fast JV game and your varsity game will start a little before 7 o'clock. A slow JV game and your varsity game will be starting a little after 7 o'clock. So those are the two games I'm looking forward to seeing the most. East is at Ursuline tonight. That should be fun. Sebring will visit Waterloo. Girard is at Poland. South Range at Niles. Newton Falls will be hosting AUSY. Western Reserve hosting Mineral Ridge. Cardinal Mooney will travel outside of Canton to take on Louisville. East Palestine will go to Leetonia. Springfield is at Jackson Milton. Matthews at Crestview tonight. Columbiana takes a trip to the river as they take on Wellsville. Grand River will come to Cheney to play the Cowboys. Edison is at Beaver Local. Those are the games that will start somewhere in the vicinity of 7 o'clock. Steubenville will be going to Edison for a junior high basketball game. That game will be starting at 5:30 and going on right now as we speak, the Joshua Hepner Memorial Wrestling Tournament. That is going on as we speak, and that's been going on for about an hour as of right now. So plenty of games on the network tonight as we will have all kinds of coverage. And again, if you're interested in watching Mike Ackelson and the fine crew here in the studios of YSN, Open Look is similar to what we did in football. It's audible call in football. Everyone was trying to get everyone to see as many touchdowns or as many points scored in a particular evening. If someone had the ball inside the red zone, we would make the audible call, go to that particular game, and we would catch up with the broadcasters and essentially just let the broadcaster paint the story and let the picture tell the story and go from there. Well, it's the same thing in basketball. Open Look with Mike Ackelson. They will go to different games and just have a little look-see on what is going on in our basketball night in the Mahoning Valley. And that is going to be tonight. Open Look presented by WRS Wealth Advisors. You can watch that tonight beginning at 7 o'clock with Mike Ackelson and the fellas here in the beautiful studios of YSN. That gets underway at 7 o'clock tonight on ysnlive.com. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. 1-3. Doubleheader of basketball tonight and today, as a matter of fact. The YSU women, they were supposed to be playing Detroit Mercy. Detroit Mercy, they put the kibosh on the season. And all of us were under the impression that this was COVID-related. As it turns out, there are parents and players accusing the head basketball coach at Detroit Mercy, Anne-Marie Gilbert, of abuse. Now, I don't know. I was reading an article about some of the things that were going on, and honestly, truth be told, some of this, I don't know that I would sit back and say abuse. Some of it is certainly eye-opening, but others, it's part of playing Division I sports. I'll find the article and start reading out some of the things that was going on over there. But the YSU women obviously needed to have a new opponent, and because Chicago or UIC, they were not supposed to be playing this weekend. Northern Kentucky is right now dealing with a positive COVID test. So that weekend between UIC and Northern Kentucky was canceled. So Youngstown State, in a very interesting turn of events, is going to be playing UIC. And both of these games will be played at Beagley this afternoon at 2 o'clock and tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. These two teams played each other last weekend in Chicago. Youngstown State won both of those games, so the YSU women will play host to UIC instead of Detroit Mercy. And the Penguins will look for their fourth and fifth consecutive games won, as the women will play UIC for the third consecutive time today at 2 o'clock and tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Meanwhile, the guys are going to be playing UIC as well. The guys are hosting UIC at 5 o'clock this afternoon and at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. The men's team is 7-7 overall. They are 3-7 in the Horizon League. Now, they've lost 3 games in a row. The good news, Youngstown State will play 8 of its last 10 games at home. And consider this, the 2 games on the road, really not that far on the road. The 2 games that are on the road are going to be played in the suburban Pittsburgh area against Robert Morris. So the Penguins really won't have to travel all that far. By the way, the suburbs in which Robert Morris is located, it's closer to us. It's on the Ohio side of the Fort Pitt Tunnel. So from here, and again, we're a driver from the Pennsylvania line in East Palestine. From here, you would stay on State Route 14, go into Pennsylvania. It turns into State Route 51. Take 376 and over by the airport. That's where Robert Morris is. From here, it's 35 minutes to Robert Morris. It's a 35-minute drive. So it's not that big of a drive from Youngstown to Robert Morris. I think it's about an hour, if that. So when you consider 8 of the last 10 games are going to be played at home, and, oh, by the way, the 2 road games, you can basically go back and forth and not spend an evening in Pittsburgh. You can just basically bus back and forth because it's not that big of a drive. And I'm sure that's what Youngstown State's going to do. The Penguins, as we mentioned, 7-7 overall, 3-7 in the Horizon League. 8 of the last 10 games are going to be played at home, 2 road games at Robert Morris. a golden opportunity for the Penguins to right the ship and to get things all taken, get things all squared away. Now, unfortunately, they're going to be without Darius Quisenberry, preseason first team, all league. He's continuing to deal with an ankle injury. He has only played in 6 games this year. He has missed 8 games this year, and he's in Dayton right now receiving therapy on the injured ankle. And YSU head basketball coach Jared Calhoun believes that Quisenberry should be available before the end of the season. Now, we mentioned and had a conversation with Rob Schmidt earlier in the week, and he joins us every Wednesday. Say what you will about the NCAA. Their decision to essentially make this year a mulligan is going to prove to be a really, really great decision, not just for schools like Youngstown State, but for all of the NCAA schools. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody is going to come back and everybody's going to, have that one more opportunity to play together as a team, and then you add the incoming freshmen, and everyone's just going to get no. That's not going to happen. The transfer portal is going to be enormous by the end of this season. It will be. And it may affect Youngstown State. You may see some players on this Youngstown State basketball team decide, you know what, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna take my talent elsewhere. Yeah, you don't have to sit out for a year. The transfer portal is such where, if you want to play the next year, go ahead. You have no problems playing the next year. You can do it. And I think it's going to affect a lot of programs. There's no guarantee that everyone's going to come back next year at Youngstown State or any other Division I school for that matter, or any other college for that matter. But I can assure you that the transfer portal is going to be really, really large at the end of the year. And hopefully we don't have a lot of kids leaving Youngstown State, because even though the team is 3-7 in the league, I still think this is one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the conference. Unfortunately, they're not playing like one right now. And you can't use the injuries as an excuse. Everyone has them. But when you lose a guy like Darius Quisenberry and his backup is a true freshman, that hurts. No two ways about it. It hurts. And he's missed 8 games. You figure that YSU could very well be 7-3 instead of 3-7 in the league. You could make a pretty solid case for that. I mean, at the very least, 5-5. You can make a solid case for that. But I think that in our conversation with Rob Schmidt on Wednesday, I think the big thing that the Youngstown State men's basketball team, and the women for that matter, I think the biggest thing for them right now is, okay, you have 10 games left in the season. And unless you go and get a non-conference opponent, which as of right now, it's not on the horizon, pun intended. Neither team is scheduled to play a non-conference team between now and the end of the regular season. So right now, you got 10 games left. If the YSU men can get on a pretty good roll here and win 8 of the last 10, okay, you're looking at a 11-9 conference record. 11-9 will probably get you somewhere in the top 6. And considering they're having the entire conference is going to be playing in the tournaments. Top 4 seeds will get a bye into the quarterfinals. 5 will play 12, 6 will play 11, 7 will play 10, 8 will play 9. The 5, 6, 7, and 8 seeds will have a home game. Pretty good chance if Youngstown State were to finish 11-9, they'd have a home game. in the first round. And then they would probably have to go on the road the rest of the way, or at least go on the road for the quarterfinals. And then the semifinals and the championship game would be played in Indianapolis. Same thing with the women. Now, unfortunately, with Detroit closing up shop, and again, stories are out. The Yahoo Sports has a story out that parents and players have accused Detroit Mercy and the head basketball coach over there of abuse. That story came out this morning. 14 players and their parents all signed a letter on Sunday, sent it to the athletic director, Robert Vowles Jr., detailing numerous abuse allegations surrounding Gilbert, who had just taken over the job Anne-Marie Gilbert did in April. Ryan Young writes this piece in Yahoo Sports. And that is that's what's going on right now. The Detroit Free Press actually broke the story. The home paper for Detroit Mercy, the big paper out of the city of Detroit. They broke the story that Detroit Mercy women's basketball team canceled the rest of its regular season yesterday because the parents and the players accused Coach Anne-Marie Gilbert of abuse and mistreatment. That, according to the Detroit Free Press. Yahoo Sports has a story on it, and it doesn't paint the Detroit Mercy coach Anne-Marie Gilbert in a very nice light. We'll see what transpires out of that. But now that you got 11 teams in the tournament, it kind of makes for a very unique situation where I think now the top 3 seeds will have to get a bye. And then the 4 would play the 11. The 5 would play the 10, the 6 would play the 9, the 7 would play the 8, and then the 5 winners would join the 3 teams that were buyed into the quarterfinals, and we go from there. Reseed probably, I don't know, but that would appear to be the lineup when we get into the tournaments. But like I said, there's 5 weeks left in the Horizon League basketball season, and for the YSU men and women, the women are in better shape. No denying that. The women are in much better shape. John Barnes' team, they had their own problems. I mean, they started the season dealing with COVID not once but twice, and their entire non-conference schedule got wiped out. The whole kit and caboodle got wiped out, and that sucks. I mean, at least the men had a few games on their schedule. Now, granted, the men were playing some NAIA opponents, which not the most ideal non-conference schedule, but under the circumstances, it's better than nothing. And the Penguins, the YSU men were certainly able to win their 4 non-conference games. Well, the women have no non-conference games. They began their season at home against a really good Wright State basketball team. Well, unfortunately, Wright State was able to take it to them in both of the games. And then the Penguins played Oakland and lost in the first game to Oakland. And turnovers were a huge part of the problem. Youngstown State, the women were turning the ball over 20 times a game, which is not acceptable. The fourth game, they get a victory over Oakland, and they only turned the ball over 12 times. And that's ideally where you want to be. You don't want to turn the ball over any more than 12 times. Well, the YSU women turned it over 12 times in their game against Oakland at Beagley, and they got the victory. And then they took 2 in a row against UIC. Now, all of a sudden, the women are 3-3. And with 10 games left, you're going to be playing a team that you just knocked off twice in UIC because Detroit Mercy had their season come to an end. With all the allegations. Now you're playing host to UIC instead of Detroit Mercy, and you won both contests last Friday and Saturday in Chicago. Not saying that the Penguins are going to continue doing what they're doing, but if they're able to get at least a split, well, that's fantastic. But, when you're home, you want to win both games. And, the Penguins could very well find themselves in a much, much better area than the men. 3-3 with 10 games left. Well, if the Penguins take care of business and let's say they go 8-2 like the men, you're looking at 11 wins, 5 losses. That's a heck of a good season. And then they didn't play the 20-game conference schedule because the first 2 weeks they were in COVID, so you would go by win percentage. One would assume 11-5, which is a win percentage of over 60%, if I'm not mistaken. 11 out of 16, I believe, is 65%. No, it's actually 68, 68.75%. That would most definitely put the Penguins in the top 4, if not the top 3. And again, with Detroit bowing out, and their season is over with all the stuff going on in Detroit, now you have 11 teams. And now the top 3 teams will be taking a bye. If they're planning on inviting all 11 teams, top 3 teams would take a bye. The 4 seed would play the 11, the 5 would play the 10, the 6 would play the 7. The 6 would play the 9, and the 7 would play the 8. And then the 5 winners would join the 3 teams into the quarterfinal action. Youngstown State, if they were to go 8-2 in their final 10 games, they could very easily be one of those top 3 teams that gets a bye into the quarterfinals. So the women are in better shape than the men are right now, but the men are in better shape in that they have more home games. And when you consider the 2 road games, and I want to do this so I get the proper effect. Road games are outside of Pittsburgh, close to the airport, which is maybe an hour away? That's not really a road game per se. You're in pretty good shape here. And Robert Morris has struggled. Penguins, if the men can get on a roll here, they could very easily find themselves getting a home game into the quarterfinals. I seriously doubt that the men get into the top 4 because of how they've buried themselves through the first 10 games. Now, again, 8 of the first 10 games they played this year were on the road. And that was, not good. Now, the backside of this, 8 of the last 10 games are going to be played at home. And you look back on all of this, and my argument with everything is, well, if Darius Quisenberry had been healthy and he injured his ankle in that game against WVU Tech, the NAIA school, had he been healthy, DQ has missed 8 games this year. He's only played in 6 games this year. So he's missed 8 games. Had DQ been healthy, you're probably looking at a team that's closer to 6-4 than 3-7. And let's be honest. I mean, if the Penguins were 6-4 with 8 of the last 10 games at home, and the 2 road games, you don't have to travel more than an hour, they would be in great shape. Now, unfortunately, injuries are a thing, and hopefully DQ will be back before the start of the home stretch here in the basketball season. All right, 330-886-0813. We'll take a timeout, be back with more. It is a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit WRSWealthAdvisors.com. Good luck, athletes.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy efficient experts.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. If you're in the market for a new or slightly used automobile, you definitely need to make a trip to Greenwood Chevrolet before you make the commitment to a new or slightly used automobile. Take the trip to Austintown and check out the good folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Made mention the YSU men and women in action. The women will be starting at 2 o'clock. The men will get underway at 5 o'clock today. Same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow. The women will get underway at 2 o'clock on Saturday. The men will get underway at 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. We made mention the decision to cancel the season at Detroit Mercy. That was YSU's opponent. They were supposed to be their opponent this weekend. The YSU women will now play UIC for a third and fourth time in a row. Interesting to say the least. High school basketball, we've made mention a number of games on the docket tonight. The games that I'm looking forward to seeing as a fan of high school basketball, I'll be really curious to see two benchmark games for me. The one in Division 4 over at Valley Christian High School, where Lisbon plays Valley Christian tonight, and then the West Branch Boardman game. I think this is a big moment for the West Branch basketball program, a victory over Boardman. And I think that definitely cements West Branch to be in the same conversation with Struthers and Cheney. I really believe that. Boy, you talk about a stacked, oh my goodness, a stacked Division II tournament this year. And under normal circumstances, when you just have the Boardman district, which is mainly every team in the area, and I believe there's one basketball team that is outside of the area that participates in the D2 district basketball tournament, boys tournament, over at Boardman. Under normal circumstances, if we're just covering the Boardman district, good God, there's some teams, there's some programs. We made mention Struthers and Cheney. Well, Ursuline is having a really, really nice year this year. They knocked off Benedictine last night up in Cleveland. You've got West Branch. You've got a really good Salem basketball team. And then you have some some teams like Poland, Canfield. Yeah, this is a loaded Division II tournament. Well, this year, and I think this is going to be the first of many years that the OHSAA does this. I don't think this is COVID related. I think that they're basically doing this for the Benjamin aspect. You're going to have two districts combined into one supersized district. And depending on which district is chosen, boy, Division II is going to be fun. Not only Division II, Division I as well. Let's get to the phone lines. Emmanuel, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's going on, brother?
Well, first of all, how you doing, my brother?
I'm good. I'm a little sad and disappointed today with the passing of Henry Aaron, but he was 86.
The one thing that I really agree with you about Hank Aaron, because I had a Hank Aaron glove. He was a pretty good outfielder.
Yeah, he
had
was.
a good arm.
He was. Now, unfortunately for Aaron, he lived in the same era and played in the same era as arguably the greatest right fielder to ever play the game defensively in Clemente.
Yeah.
But you're right.
And
Aaron was a really good right fielder. Defensively, he was really good. The only thing is he was hamburger compared to the prime rib defensively that was Clemente.
Well, if my daughter bring me home a 97, I'm not gonna get mad because somebody got 100. I'm okay with that.
Oh, I agree with you.
As a matter of fact, I'm crowing like a bandit rooster.
Hey, just don't wake my ass up at 5 a.m. when you see the sun and everything's good. You know what I mean?
Well, see, I've been down south like you, right? You know what it's like to hear that rooster crowing in the
morning.
Oh my People up here don't know.
God! Oh, horrible. Hey, listen. I have been in plenty of hotels in the Deep South, and we had a hotel in the first time I was in Montgomery. We were in a hotel that was not really a chain brand hotel like a Holiday Inn or
like a regional.
It was a regional. It was a regional hotel. It was the only time. As luck would have it, it was the only time, and I think we weren't the only team that was complaining about this. Emmanuel, I swear to God, it was near a farmhouse, and this damn rooster started barking. Oh, he just started barking at 5 a.m, and I'm looking around, and I'm going, oh, hell no. I don't want any part of this.
Well, those roosters, they're pimps. They're getting their ladies out working. Go lay them eggs,
Oh,
girl.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, Ronnie, I've been wanting to go on some deep water with you about 4 or 5 things.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Can we go out in the deep water?
Absolutely. And before we do, if the rooster sounds like Foghorn Leghorn, then I'm on. Then I'm all good. It's all good then.
But the bottom line is this. Well, I tell you, boy. Well, you do it better than me.
Look here, boy. I said, boy, look here now.
You're crazy. Okay, let's get serious. How
right.
actors do. Scene, hand in front of the face, scene.
Yeah.
Okay. The thing I keep hearing about the YSU men's basketball team.
Yes.
I'm all in with YSU men's basketball team, and their coach is another one of those guys that I defer to. I mean, because him and the baseball coach, I don't know too much about the football coach. I'm checking him out now. But those two guys, their resume speaks for themselves that I know of, and I will not question either one of them as a coach, as a person, as a father, and as a man. I'm not going to do it. Now, that's being said. Those cards are on the table, okay?
Okay.
But I'm sitting here looking, I'm thinking, you had an injury real quick, right? The beginning of the season, right? He tried to come back. And then I heard a little talk about it back then. Why didn't they just shut Quisenberry down and move on without him? Because he can come back. He gets another year because of the virus. But why?
Well, I don't think they realized how serious the ankle injury was. And Darius didn't think the ankle injury was that serious, where he was able to play on it, and then he just kept re-aggravating it. And then finally, they shut him down, and Darius went to Dayton, and he's still in Dayton, and he's trying to rehab his ankle and trying to get some things accomplished down there. And Coach Calhoun says that he expects Quisenberry to play by the end of this season. We'll see what happens.
Well, I don't know, but there is a other side of that coin. You can't shut him down because he'll be back next year. I'm pretty sure he's coming back next year. Can you imagine him coming?
Yeah, but here's the thing, Emmanuel. I mean, the transfer, the transfer portal is going to be really, really large. I'm going to be really curious if that transfer portal includes a Darius Quisenberry. I hope not.
I don't think so because I think, this is my personal opinion, I'm not a director, but I have stayed in the Holiday Inn before.
Ah, yes,
right?
yes.
They love their coach and they love YSU. That has a lot to do with it.
I think it does, and I think that you're probably going to wind up being right on this. But the more time he spends in Dayton, maybe Darius starts getting homesick. Maybe Darius starts getting to get the feel that, hey, I'm spending time at home.
We'll just put another team close to Dayton on the schedule, and they come watch them play. You know how we do it. West Virginia came to Covelli and said, "Come on, man."
Hey, listen, they already played Wright State 2 times. I'm just saying,
Yeah. Okay, now here's another thing. Now here's the elephant in the room with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nobody wants to talk about that. Oh, he's this, he's that, right? But there's a couple things with the Steelers that need to be talked about. You do understand, right, that if Ben is on the roster, he gets that $17 million roster bonus, and the Steelers take a cap hit of $41.7 million.
Yes. Yep. No, I absolutely do.
Comment on
that.
Wait a minute. Now, if we let him go, right, before the roster is turned in, right, we don't have to give him that $15 million, but we can let him keep his $15 million signing bonus, and then he can go. But even if we do that, we still have a salary cap hit, even if he's not in the locker room. He could be in the state of Ohio. He don't have to even be in Pittsburgh, right? And we're still going to take a cap hit of $4 million. What do you do in a situation like that?
Well, I deferred to the morning guy over in Pittsburgh, Colin Dunlap. Now I enjoy listening to him. He's a guy that loves to tick off a lot of people, and I love listening to him. He made a comment on Twitter yesterday that I thought was pretty interesting. He said that with Dwayne Haskins, the contract that he signed, that he believes one of two things is about to happen. Either Ben Roethlisberger is about to retire, and you have Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins battling it out to see which one becomes the starting quarterback and which one becomes the backup. And, oh, by the way, the Steelers save a boatload of money, as you mentioned. They'll save approximately $41 million. And let's be honest for a second here. The salary cap's not going up anytime soon. Not with this year.
It's going down. It's going down next year because of this year.
Yeah,
so you have less money to work with.
Exactly. It may very well go down. I mean, it's
going down.
Well, I mean, there's nothing official yet. It could very well go down because of the fact that you didn't have a lot of people going to the games. Now, you still got a crap load of revenue, which most of your revenue comes from the TV contracts. And all of the games did get to be played, and all of the games were televised. So you're still going to get the ridiculous amount of money that you get between CBS, Fox, ESPN, the NFL Network, and all the other NBC. Those are the 5 major groups.
Ronnie, I know millionaires, and you'll never hear any of them say there's such thing as enough money. You got 40,000 people spending at least $100 a piece.
Oh, I agree.
Every Sunday.
I agree.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Listen, I agree with what you're saying.
And that goes straight into the owner's pocket. That's what Modell left. Goes straight into the owner's pocket.
And I agree with what you're saying. But in this particular case with football, you do get a whole bunch of money with the national television contract. So
whether you win or lose, whether you win or lose,
yeah,
you get paid.
none of those teams are hurting for money. Let's just put it that way. But you're right, where the salary cap is either going to stay as is or it goes a little bit lower. So here's one of the two scenarios. If you sign Haskins to a deal, either Ben's about to retire or the organization has looked at Mason Rudolph and said, we're not sold on you. So we're going to bring in Dwayne Haskins, and we're going to see if he's a better fit to be our backup quarterback. One of those two scenarios. And if I'm Mason Rudolph and I'm looking at what the Steelers did yesterday, I'm thinking to myself, I don't think I'm going to be purchasing any real estate here in the city of Pittsburgh anytime soon.
Well, one thing about him, right? I think I love me some Josh Dobbs, but I think the Haskins can run the RPO better than Dobbs. If nothing else, we're gonna have a wildcat, and we're gonna have we're gonna do different things on offense.
Yeah,
right.
No, I agree with that, and I think that Dobbs is done. That's the official death knell.
He's done with football. He's done with football. Jacksonville didn't even keep him as a backup. He's done.
Yeah, he's pretty much done. And at the end of the day,
he got paid.
Yeah, he did. And enjoy the money.
He's an aerospace engineer. He had a 4.0 in Tennessee. He'll be all right.
Well, I think he'll do pretty well for himself. Come on, I think he'll do pretty well for himself.
And it looks like, which I think is a good move, right? Because it's hard to get coaches to come to Pittsburgh. Because the longest contract Tomlin's going to give you is the first contract. That's 2 years. After that, is you get renewed every year. Now Butler is coming back, and he's going to be the defensive coordinator. Now everybody got all upset about Hugh Jackson coming to talk to Tomlin in Pittsburgh.
Yes,
I think that's a smokescreen.
Okay.
You want to know what I think? Because I think the offensive coordinator is going to be the quarterback coach right now, Canada. I think Canada is going to be the offensive coordinator, and I think they're going to bring in Hugh, right? And give Hugh just call it a director of behavioral medicine or something, right? And they're going to tell him, listen, man, you got to get these young guys in check. We're tired of getting these young players in. And they're getting off the reservation. We don't have Ben in here anymore. You got to come in and you got to spend time with these guys. When these guys want to get up and go to the bar at 2:00 in the morning, have them call you.
Yeah,
and that way he can redeem himself, because right now you mention his name and people spit on the ground, right? So he's going to go ahead.
He's probably not the guy that you want, given the fact that his training camps, and I'm going to be kind when I say this, his training camps were country club. Hugh Jackson did not run a very hard establishment.
Two things. He's not running nothing in Pittsburgh but his mouth. That's Tomlin's training camp. And this is his chance to redeem himself, his last chance. He blowed his chance, he's done with football too. And I say the same thing with Haskins. So maybe adversity brings togetherness, because let's call it like we see it. It didn't work out right with Antonio Brown. It didn't work out right with Le'Veon Bell. And as far as I'm concerned, it didn't work out with Mike Wallace or Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, we get these good guys, and it just don't work out. It's because all Tomlin cares about is one thing. Tomlin cares about one thing and one thing only, and he'll tell you. He cares about those 45 men he put on that roster an hour before the game. He don't care about nothing else. If you're not on that roster and you're not focused and you're ready to go, he don't really need you. Well, there's more to life than just playing football. And that's where the younger players get lost at. Because when you're 22, 23, 24, I'm not asking you to do it 24/7. I mean football 24/7, but you got to put the work in. But there's still free time. They don't have wives. They don't have kids. They still play Nintendo. Juju was riding around on a bike.
Yeah.
So they need somebody, and kudos to Tomlin. They need somebody. So and we're doing everything. You know this. We're doing everything on the cheap. You know that.
Well, of course. Yeah, of course. Look, I mean, in the perfect scenario, I don't think that I don't think that Hugh Jackson is an offensive coordinator, but he could be a hell of a quarterback coach. And if you give Jackson an opportunity to work with Haskins, and I'll just say this about Haskins. Look, and I said this yesterday. If I had my choice between Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins, I'm taking Mason Rudolph every day and twice on Sunday. But the caveat in that is Haskins has all kinds of ability. It's just, okay, are you going to grow up? Are you going to be showing that you're going to take this seriously? Because if you are, this is an opportunity for Haskins to really cement himself as a great, this is my second chance, this is my second opportunity, a good redemption story. He has an opportunity to do kind of what
Baker Mayfield did.
Well, Mayfield.
They said the same thing about Mayfield.
That's a poor example.
He needs to grow up.
Yeah, but that's a poor example because Mayfield was never released.
He was running down the road drunk and ran into a statue. Come on,
yeah,
now.
That was a poor example because it was never released. Teller's probably the guy that would be the better example. Wyatt Teller. Who didn't amount to a hill of beans in Buffalo.
Well, I don't think Teller has the talent that Haskins has. But go ahead. I'm just talking about talent-wise.
Well, hold on a second. Teller is one of the top 3 or 4 guards now in the NFL.
Okay.
I mean, he went from a 5th-round draft here. He went from a draft pick to Buffalo, who underachieved in Buffalo, and Buffalo said, "Here, you take him. We don't want him. He's underachieved his entire time." And then Teller understood. Wait a second, this was my wake-up call. I just got my ass kicked out of one camp, and if I do this again, I'm probably out of football forever. I got to straighten up and fly right. And to his credit, he has straightened up. He's flown right, and he's one of the 3 or 4 best guards in the National Football League. I'm not saying that could happen to Haskins.
But he had help. You know what? He had help. They say that him and Joe Thomas are good friends.
Well, I'm sure they are. And obviously he got himself straightened out to the point where he's now an elite guard. I don't know if Haskins will ever be an elite quarterback. I don't think he has that talent. But I think he can be a solid quarterback if he takes what happened in Washington and grows up and understands, hey, okay, this is my last chance. I gotta be a much better representative of my football team, and I got to make better decisions. So, here's my wake-up call. I think if Haskins takes that to heart, he could be a good quarterback in the National Football League.
Well, speaking of choices, I'm supposed to go to that game tonight, Harding and Canfield. But man, that game, that game y'all broadcasting between West Branch and Warman, that might be a pretty good game. I have to hustle home and watch that, huh?
Yeah, no, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And for West Branch, you're taking on a really good Division I program, and this just in, West Branch is a pretty damn good Division II program. So if West Branch can beat Boardman, all of a sudden, all this talk about Struthers and Cheney, and they're the 2 best teams. Well, Cheney played Boardman; they didn't beat them. I don't think Struthers played Boardman this year. They might have, but I know Cheney didn't beat them.
I hope Boardman wins, because if they lose tonight, when they come to Warren Tuesday, they're gonna be mad. I'm gonna be at that game. Let's go Spartans! Here we go, Boardman. Here we go. Hey, Ronnie, man, as always, you have a great weekend.
Hey,
man.
let me ask you before we go. We talked about Henry Aaron. Where do you put him on the pantheon of everyday baseball players? All time.
Everyday baseball players.
I mean, we're throw the pitchers out for a second, because they only pitch every 5 days, or if you're a reliever, every other day.
Well, see, that's tough. Though. You got guys like Lou Gehrig and Cal Ripken. They played every game. What are you asking me?
As far as where would you put Aaron? I mean, do you
top 5?
Do you put him top 5 everyday ball player in the history of the game? I'm
sorry, but I don't think I can.
See this? You just gave me the ultimate example of why he's the most underrated player. I mean
because he did everything good, right?
Yeah.
And and even his home runs, it took him 22 years to hit all his home runs.
Well, he never hit 50 home runs in a year.
But when you got some players that are like Willie Mays, before he got old, unbelievable fielder, plus 5 home runs, plus stealing bases, 5 tools.
Yeah.
I mean, how can and I'm gonna tell you, he don't get any credit, and you probably say I'm a homer. Man, Mickey Mantle was a pretty good ball player too.
Well, Mantle loved going to the bars more than he loved baseball. That's why.
But he still was a ball player.
Oh, he was. There's no two ways about that, and everyone can sit back. And even Mantle said it before he died. He said he pissed away his career. That he could have been the greatest baseball player to ever play the game. Now, not that he wasn't one of the 10 best everyday players. He was, but he could have been so much better. He cared more about alcohol in his heyday than he cared about baseball.
And just think if he wouldn't have did all that. And then I didn't see the guy, but and you said we can't use pitching, but the guy pitched, played 3 different positions. Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
I put Hank in the top 5.
Yeah. Now here's the thing with Ruth, and it's not his fault, obviously. I mean, the dumbest decision ever made by Major League Baseball was the integration or the lack of integration of the game, and you didn't allow the best players to play the game due to the color of their skin. So, unfortunately for Babe Ruth, he didn't play against the best competition. And anyone that played prior to 1947 has that discrepancy. And it's not their fault. It's just they played in an era where you did not play against the best of the best of the best. Had you played against the best of the best, I would undoubtedly put Babe Ruth as the greatest everyday player of all time. But because he did not play against the best of the best, Willie Mays has that honor.
Well, that was a tough decision you just asked me, but I probably shouldn't say this, but there's something people don't think about, the old Negro League, but this is the truth, because I've talked to a whole bunch of them, right? A whole bunch of people, family members and people who've actually played. Mr. Tolles, who passed away, I used to sit there and just listen to him forever, right?
Yeah.
And he played against with a big lefty. Played against Satchel Paige. He told me stories about Satchel Paige. It was amazing. But the thing about it is this, right? One thing I learned from that league was more entertainment than it was traditional baseball.
Well, I agree with that. In some ways, it was.
I'm a traditionalist, not as much as you. Because I don't know as much about, you've been in the dugout. I never knew about the sign in the dugout till you told me about gambling. I never knew about that.
Well, it's not in the dugout. It's going into the locker room, going into the clubhouse. Okay. There's a placard just as you go into the door and as you come out of that door heading to the dugout. There's a placard on either side that says you're not allowed to gamble. And if you do, you're thrown out.
And that's in every stadium. That's in every stadium.
That's in every stadium. Yeah, it's in every stadium.
Freaking believable. Excuse me, I didn't cuss. I used to say freaking.
No, I know you didn't.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I learned something new talking to you, man. But they get ready to come home from school, and I got to put on my daddy hat or my mom hat. I got to cook something, maybe some pasta or something, chicken. I don't know.
Oh, now see, I always knew you were Sicilian. Yeah,
you rubbing off on me, man.
You were obviously from Sicily. That's my Italian brother right here.
Well, yeah, you're right. But what was that one where the guy? What was that opera where the guy killed his wife? He thought she was cheating on him.
Oh yeah. I can't remember the name of the opera, but I can hear it in my mind.
He was related to the guy that came over the elf, Hannibal. I think I have a little bit of his blood in me.
Hey,
we don't get in trouble.
Listen, before I let you go, you just sparked my mind on something. The Bernie Sanders memes that are going around from where he was dressed up and in his Vermont mittens.
I almost fell out my chair when I seen him sitting beside Forrest Gump. He looked like he belonged there.
Oh yeah, I got one on my Twitter account. I got one him sitting next to Sonny Corleone, and I was like, "There you go. Bernie Sanders was a member of the Corleone family."
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you something. Don't be surprised. I might open up another Twitter account. I might have to send you something because you keep talking about your Twitter. We gotta talk. Okay, my brother. You have a good weekend. Okay.
Man, see ya.
Later, man.
330-886-0813. I got another one with Bernie all bundled up in Bill's gear, and the sign behind him says Bill's Mafia, and all of these memes with Bernie Sanders have been absolutely phenomenal. And this is from the inauguration day when he was all bundled up, and he has. And I got to tell you right now, whoever made these mittens, and I guess you get them in Vermont. Apparently, they're all kinds of warm. I mean, these things are absolutely phenomenal. Whoever has come up with these and whoever makes these in the state of Vermont has got to be smiling like nobody's business right now, because the publicity that this person is getting from these mittens that Bernie Sanders wore, and now you've got all these memes going on right now. I got a meme on my Facebook account. I don't know where I got it from, but Bernie Sanders dressed up like Sharon Stone in the iconic scene where she's crossing her legs, and I can't remember the name of the movie. He had a picture of Bernie Sanders in the mittens and whatnot, and he's wearing the very high cut skirt, and he's got his legs crossed, and people were like, "That's just over the edge, disgusting." The other one is him dressed in Bill's gear, Bill's Mafia sign behind him. There's one where he is sitting next to Forrest Gump on the bench, next to Sonny Corleone from the iconic movie The Godfather. These memes were hysterical, absolutely hysterical. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. Back in a bit. Stick around. More to come.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters.
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
Telling more local stories.
We'll look at efforts. Boy is recovering from a broken.
Around our valley.
Community in Niles. We are here in Youngstown, right up.
Because you expect.
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
More local news.
In Mercer County Court.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity.
Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car we're looking for, they have tremendous inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went to
Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Local teams are heating up the hardwoods, and you can keep up with all the action on and off the court with Five Guys Hoop News all season long on 21 Sports.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. With you till 3 o'clock. DJ and the fellas will take you through the 3 o'clock hour. Tonight's WRS Wealth Advisors sponsoring Open Look. Tune in tonight, 7 o'clock on ysnlive.com. You can watch Mike Ackelson and the fellas here in the studios as they keep you updated and keep you entertained through the Friday evening of high school basketball. And we made mention plenty of games on the network tonight. We'll get to those games before we get out of here. Did want to mention, and Emmanuel, I asked him specifically, where would you rank Hank Aaron among the everyday players in the history of the game? Now, here would be my list, just for anyone wondering. My list would include Willie Mays, number 1. Mays played in a canyon and still hit 660 home runs. He's the best defensive center fielder. There is no argument that he is the best defensive center fielder in the history of the game. He did everything. He ran, he hit with power. He had a cannon for an arm. He did everything fantastic. He was the best everyday player, in my mind, in the history of this game. Hank Aaron is right up there. He is a very close second. Hank Aaron finishes his career. And again, Henry Aaron passing away this morning at the age of 86. He's the 10th Hall of Famer to pass away since October. Henry Aaron, second all-time in home runs, 755. Number 1 with 1,477 extra base hits. Number 1, 2,297 runs batted in. Number 1 all-time, 6,856 total bases. And Emmanuel brought up the point. Because Henry Aaron played in the same era as the greatest right fielder in the history of the game, bar nobody, on defense in Roberto Clemente, a lot of people didn't realize just how good of outfielder defensively Henry Aaron was. Henry Aaron was a fantastic defensive outfielder. It's just, unfortunately, he never got all that much credit because Roberto Clemente, who is considered to be the greatest defensive right fielder in the history of the game, he was playing at the same time Aaron was. So Aaron doesn't get that much credit. And if you look at Aaron's entire career, Henry Aaron never hit 50 home runs in a baseball season. Not once. Henry Aaron won 1 MVP award. That's it. Just 1. The guy was putting up 40-plus home runs a year, practically every year. He was putting up 100-plus RBIs practically every year. He was hitting 300 or better practically every year. One MVP award. 1957 led the Milwaukee Braves to a World Series title, upsetting the heavily favored New York Yankees in the 57 World Series. And I think Aaron hit 3 home runs in the 57 series. He was so underappreciated. I mean, good Lord, he has 3 of the 4 offensive-oriented records of all time. Now, one of the reasons why a lot of people might consider him to be underrated is because he played in a bandbox. Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium was historically a bandbox. And in Milwaukee, pretty much the same thing with the Milwaukee Braves. And I preferred Mays over Aaron mainly because Mays was the better defensive player. Mays played in a canyon. Hell, if he'd have played in Atlanta, he'd have wound up hitting close to 800 career home runs. I got Ted Williams on the list. Babe Ruth is on the list as far as the top 4 goes. And then for the 5th, how do you not put Barry Bonds on this list? Although a lot of people in the steroid era would sit back and go, he's not clean. Let me remind everyone that Barry Bonds never tested positive for steroids. You know, he never tested positive for steroids. Now, I'm not saying he didn't do it. I mean, you know, pretty good chance that he did. I mean, his head grew about 50 million different sizes. His body grew about 50 million different sizes. There's a pretty good chance that he did it, but he never tested positive for it, unlike Clemens, unlike Alex Rodriguez, Manny Ramirez, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. One guy that I would probably be comfortable putting on this list is Albert Pujols. There was a time when Albert was in St. Louis, 12 years of his career in St. Louis, if not more? There was a time when Pujols was in his prime in St. Louis. Oh, my God, was he good. I mean, he was great. He was routinely going 40-plus, 100-plus, 40-plus home runs, 100-plus RBIs, 300-plus batting average. He was routinely doing that year after year after year. You know, you can argue Pujols, Bonds, and a few other people, but my 4, without any hesitation, my 4, Mays, Aaron, Ruth, and Ted Williams. You can also put Stan Musial in at number 5, who, like Aaron, very underappreciated. And I would probably lean more toward Musial than Bonds or Pujols at this point. But it's a great argument. But Aaron was certainly one of the greatest everyday players to ever play the game, and certainly one of the most underappreciated players to ever play the game. And the statistic that just continues to blow me away is the fact that Henry Aaron had damn near close to 3,800 hits in his career, to the point where if you take all of his 755 home runs that he hit in Major League Baseball, Henry Aaron still has over 3,000 career hits. That is mind-boggling. That is absolutely mind-boggling. All right, let's get to the phone lines. You're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's going on?
Hey, Ron, Tony.
What's up, Tony?
First of all, the reason Bonds never tested positive for steroids, he never took steroids. He was on human growth hormone. A totally different thing. It's a natural occurring. It's excreted from the pituitary glands. They don't have a baseline for it, so they really couldn't test for it. I don't know if they can test for it now.
Yeah, he was on the clear and the cream.
What's that?
He was doing the clear and the cream. There would be a clear based ointment and a cream based ointment that Bonds would be using.
Yeah, I don't know. Human growth hormone will create structural changes in your body. It'll allow your bones to grow after you completed maturity. It'll allow a lot of things to occur. That's why the protruding forehead and a lot of other things.
Yeah.
That's why Andre, that it's a pituitary gland secretion. That's why a lot of the features start to resemble Andre the Giant. He had a pituitary gland issue.
Yeah. Oh, there's a name from the past. And if you're a wrestling fan, Andre the Giant, he didn't live very long. But in the era of wrestling, he's one of the all-time greats. Even though he didn't have the belt all that often, he's one of the all-time greats because he was just so much bigger than everyone. He was like 7'5". He weighed 500 pounds, and I remember seeing a picture of a 12-ounce beer. A beer can in his hand, and the beer can looked like it was something out of a
V8 container.
Yeah, it was crazy to look at how small this thing was compared to the ginormous hands that Andre the Giant had.
So either I'm a wrestling fan or what was the movie he was in? The Bride something.
Oh yeah, oh God. Now I got to look it up. Yeah, now I got to look it up. The Bridesmaid. It's not the Bridesmaid. It was
Princess Bride or something like that.
Yeah, it was a movie. He was in the movie. It was an '80s movie. Really good movie, by the way.
Oh, it was a classic. Robin Ray Penn that's her first role. She was what a looker.
Yeah, I liked her in Forrest Gump, even though she played a really horrible person in Forrest Gump. She was hot in Forrest Gump. I liked.
I didn't think she played a horrible person in Forrest Gump. I thought she played a damaged person, but she wasn't a horrible person.
Oh, the way she treated. Come on, now, hang on a second. The way she treated Forrest Gump was horrible.
We can argue that another time. She was a damaged individual, and she was always trying to improve herself. And a lot of the times that she went away from Forrest Gump was her own sense of the self inadequacy, not to be mean or self-serving.
Yeah, I mean, she was obviously at the end of toward the end of the movie, everyone figured out what was going on with the character, and it wasn't pretty with what she was going through. But no, I understand where you're coming from, and obviously she was. By the way, the movie the Andre Giant was in was The Princess Bride.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, The Princess Bride.
Classic.
Yeah, The Princess Bride. Yeah, it was a classic movie. No, and you're right. She in that movie had some really, really awful stuff that she went through, and but I mean the way she treated Forrest though, it was horrible, absolutely horrible. But it was good that she got back, and they got back toward the end because I'm a sucker for happy endings, even though.
But you needed that role to show how an amazing the character or the Forrest Gump character was.
Oh, absolutely.
The ability to look through flaws in other people, and it was great movie.
Oh, it was a fantastic movie, and it was definitely deserving of all the Academy Awards for sure.
Hey, what's the deal on the Bills game? I heard the line was slipping a little bit.
No, it's actually going to be it's going to be moving in Kansas City's direction. It'll probably be at 5 before game time. Right now, it's holding steady at 3 because the official word of Mahomes playing or not playing has not been announced yet.
He's still in protocol.
Well, yeah, he's in protocol, but he's going to play.
Formality at this point.
Yeah, he's going to play, and when the announcement comes that Patrick Mahomes is going to play, I suspect that this number will go to 4 or 5. Before game time, and I've said that if someone were to put some money on this game, and you're a Bills fan looking to bet on the Bills, you probably should wait until Sunday, because I think the number is going to be closer to 5 before game time. This number is going to move up at least 2 points.
Well, I can't go too far though, because like Anthony mentioned the other day, the Chiefs can't beat a line, and they're 1-8 the last 9 games.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that, and I think that I think people are going to look a little too much into the first game, much like I think a lot of people are going to be looking a little too much into Tampa Bay's beatdown of Green Bay in Week 6. I think people forget anything that could have went wrong or could have gone wrong went wrong in that loss by Green Bay. I mean, they were turning the ball over left and right. Green Bay is not going to lose to Tampa Bay by 28 points on Sunday. I can pretty much assure you of that. That's because Green Bay is not going to turn the ball over 5 or 6 times like they did in Week 6 against Tampa Bay.
If I got that line, I would bet the house.
Oh my God! I would probably have to gather as much money as humanly possible and say, okay, give me the Packers minus 28. I'll take it, because honestly, I think Green Bay's the better team, and I think that they win the game. Now, having said that, I'm not putting a dime on this because there is no way in hell I'm betting against Tom Brady anymore. That's just not going to happen. But right now the line's 3.5. I think Green Bay wins this game by a touchdown. So we'll see.
You know what's sad is I don't know why, but I just dislike Brady. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he fell into a perfect circumstance for him, and maybe I think he's a system quarterback. A lot of things, whatever it is. I don't like Tom Brady.
Well, I don't like Tom Brady because of the way
I love him. I love him relative to the quarterback he's going against.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like Tom Brady.
Aaron Rodgers is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I don't like Tom Brady in the fact that he's played 35 games against the Buffalo Bills and have beaten them 32 times. So I'm not a fan of Tom Brady from that aspect, but I'll give him a lot of credit. He is.
So you're hoping they can close the gap, but the Bills can close the gap on Brady in the Super Bowl, then, right?
Well, listen, in a perfect world, as a Bills fan, if we were so blessed to win a Super Bowl, I would much rather have the Buffalo Bills, if they're going to be a Super Bowl team, and that's a big if because Kansas City is going to provide all kinds of problems for Buffalo, and I think the Bills can win. Whether they can or not remains to be seen. But if you're telling me that Buffalo is going to the Super Bowl, give me Tampa Bay, because if for Bills fans, the perfect ending is Buffalo upsets Kansas City, goes to the Super Bowl, beats the living hell out of Satan himself, a.k.a. Tom Brady, and they hoist the Super Bowl trophy. That's the perfect ending for Bills fans. Whether or not they get that, it remains to be seen.
Did you see where they play in the AFC Championship every 27 years? Did you see that?
Who, the Bills?
They played in '66. They played in the AFC Championship.
The AFL title, yeah, the AFL title, and 93, and here we are, 2020. Wow. Okay.
27. That's the third time on 27-year increments. That's pretty impressive.
So the lesson in this is the 80. Hold on a second. 83-year-old Ron Potesta, if I live to be this long, if I live to be this old, 83-year-old Ron Potesta is going to, with cane in hand, sashay himself right up to the window and say at the beginning of the year, Sonny, put all of my money on the Bills going to the AFC title game.
Let's hope you're betting against Kansas City to tie up the series. So
yeah,
series is 1-1 right now. So.
Yeah, it is. And what was it? Kansas City. Didn't Kansas City beat Buffalo in the AFL championship in order to play Green Bay? In order to either play Green Bay or Oakland.
God, yeah.
They beat Buffalo in the AFL title game. Otherwise, as a matter of fact, I am correct in this. It was they beat Buffalo in the AFL championship game.
That would have been Green Bay.
And Kansas City went to Super Bowl I to play Green Bay. I'm almost positive of that. Almost positive of that. So it is 1-1.
Lenny Dawson, the Alliance is Lenny Dawson, yeah.
Yeah, it is 1-1 because the Bills beat the Chiefs in the '93 AFC Championship game, and I was at that game. That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
To go play who?
That was the last game against Dallas.
The team that, kind of funny, the team that in the first Super Bowl didn't Packers beat them to get to the Super Bowl?
No, the Packers. Yeah, the Packers beat Dallas in the frozen tundra to go to Super Bowl.
The '93 was the bridesmaid Super Bowl, then, huh?
Yeah, and I remember, and my aunt and uncle have long since passed away, but when I got out of Rich Stadium in Orchard Park and made the 2-mile trip to my aunt and uncle's place, they had the Cowboys game on against the 49ers. And that was the game in which Aikman concussion in that game against the 49ers. And Kozar came in because he had been released by Cleveland earlier in the year. And Kozar came in and led the Cowboys the rest of the way, led them on a drive in which I think the Cowboys were only up by 7 at the time. And he threw a perfect pass, actually 3 perfect passes in this drive. But the big one that he threw was to Alvin Harper. Threw it where nobody else could get it except for Alvin Harper. And Harper turned around, grabbed it, and ran down the sidelines for the touchdown. And it led the Cowboys to expand their lead. And at that point, the 49ers, they were done. But that was the one game that Kozar played as a member of the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC title game that year.
Hey, by the way, you must be a lot less cheap than I am, because if my aunt and uncle lived 2 miles from the stadium, I wouldn't pay $30 for parking. I'd walk 2 miles.
Well, yeah, but I didn't want to walk. I mean, I drove to the stadium, and then went to my aunt and uncle's. So, I probably could have walked, but
by
it
the
was.
way, you have that.
We
need everything we can this weekend against Kansas City. Do you have access to that lazy boy you didn't get out of for second half?
Oh my God, no! I wish I did. That was one of the most comfortable lazy boys. But yeah, the story goes this was the wild card weekend, or the divisional game against Houston, when the Oilers jumped out to a 35-3 lead. So all my relatives couldn't see the game because the stadium wasn't sold out then. At that point, the Bills fans were. They were just, they knew, okay, we'll cheer them and then they'll screw up in the Super Bowl. They didn't sell this game out for whatever reason. So the game was actually blacked out in Buffalo. And I am VHSing this game, and I probably could have made a ridiculous amount of money passing that VHS tape to my cousins and have them make all kinds of copies of this tape. Be that neither here nor there. So they're down 35-3, and I'm like, all right. So I go sit on this lazy boy, and I push the armrest back, and I'm on this thing. And the Bills score a touchdown. I'm like, okay. So the Bills score another touchdown. I'm like, all right. Now I'm staying on this lazy boy until this run stops. They score 2 more touchdowns. It's like 35-31. Now I got to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, well, I'm not leaving this lazy boy because they've scored 28 unanswered points. There's no way I'm leaving this lazy boy. And they're in the fourth quarter.
You were probably thinking, what in the wide world of sports?
Yeah, and my kidneys are now starting to hurt. At about 5 minutes to go in the game, they score another touchdown, and I'm like, okay, I think I can pretty much get out of this. This game should be over now. They're up 38-35. Timeout after they score the touchdown. I go relieve myself, and damn if the Oilers don't go down, kick a field goal, and I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm not leaving this lazy boy until the game is over. But yeah, that was interesting.
Well, fans are happy you did. So
that was way back in my superstitious days.
Well, it worked, but it is a totally different game for the people who go back to that game and are going to make it the harbinger of what's going to happen this game. I think you're making a big mistake. I went back and looked at the box score because I needed to know who played, and Milano didn't play. And there's probably the most underrated linebacker in the NFL right now, Matt Milano.
He's going to get paid some pretty big bucks this offseason because he's a free agent, and he's having himself an unbelievable postseason.
Fantastic pass defense is what they need.
Yep.
Needed at that time.
Yeah.
And Tremaine Edmonds, he was dealing with, was it his shoulder?
It was either his shoulder or his knee because he's had both injuries this year.
It was his shoulder, and that. So a linebacker with a sore shoulder, that makes it a little difficult to make, sure tackles.
Sure.
And you had who else was hurt? Now, I'm Josh Norman, however we feel about him, he was out at that time.
He was out.
You had the other corners struggling.
Yeah.
Right. Josh Allen.
Allen had a separated shoulder.
Dislocated shoulder.
Yeah.
And Moss was out at that time. So it's a wash on Moss because Moss was out at that time with, was it a knee at that time?
I want to say it was. Yeah.
Yeah, he was out at that time.
There were a lot of guys that were out in this game.
Oh, it was horrible. And, they got so worked over with the prep for that game. Are we playing Titans? Are we not playing Titans? Then they get stuck playing Titans on and then they got beat up by the Titans, predicting them to win this game. Oh, my gosh, no. But do I feel comfortable in their chances? Heck, yeah.
So do I.
They are a crazy tight group of guys and motivated.
Listen, I agree with you, and if you think about this, and I know that some folks may think this is crazy, but go back to the 3 losses that the Bills have had this year, and they're 15-3 right now. 2 losses that you can arguably say were COVID related in the Titans and Kansas City, and they got beat by a Hail Mary against Arizona. That's it. There's your season. I think the Bills will play a solid game, and we'll let the chips fall where they may at the end of this.
Let me ask you this. With the defense playing horrible at the time, and the defense could not be playing better right now.
I agree.
Right. Would you take that 28 points that they held them to in that game right now? Absolutely. Because I think we can score them on 28 points.
I would, except I looked at the forecast, and the wind is starting to pick up now. So much like the forecast in Buffalo last weekend.
That plays into Buffalo's hands then.
Well, it doesn't, because the forecast was windy conditions in Buffalo. He didn't look all that great in that game. Now it was a win, and there's no two ways about that. Rain showers in the evening. Winds out of the east-northeast at 10 to 15 miles an hour, gusting probably closer to 20. It's going to be a rainy night. I think this will be a fun game, but if it were a dry track, I'd be a lot more comfortable thinking the Bills win this game. But
I'm fearful of a Tyreek Hill on a fast track. And Josh Allen, there's no holds barred. There's nothing in their playbook they won't pull out in this game.
No, I agree with that.
They got 2 weeks for him his bruises to mend. If they were able to get through this game, nothing's going to be held back. And again, Mahomes' toe, I'll be watching that.
Yeah, I think that's probably the more significant injury than the whiplash, concussion, whatever the heck it was. I think the toe injury is going to be more affected, or he'll be more affected by that toe injury than the concussion or whatever he suffered on Sunday.
Oh, on the concussion, interesting, because we've all talked about he was choked out, and it was this, it was that. Talk to somebody who knows this kind of stuff, and seen a lot of it, a lot of concussions, and he said, yeah, it was definitely the behavior of a concussion, somebody who was concussed. But what surprised him was the insignificant contact that created that level of effect, concussion effect. And the question was, how many concussions has Mahomes had? Because, these things are cumulative, and you're more affected quicker or less significant, with less significant impact, the more you've accumulated them.
Yeah.
They were shocked how much he was impacted by what they perceived as a limited impact.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. How many times has Mahomes actually had a concussion? It would make you wonder. I'll be curious to see what he looks like on Sunday when he plays. I don't think there's any question that Mahomes is going to play on Sunday, and I think that because he's going to play, and when it's announced he's going to play, I think the line will go up to close to 5 points. And I would say this to Bills fans: if you're planning on betting, whether it's legally or otherwise, I would wait until Saturday or Sunday because I think the line is going to move 1 or 2 points. I think closer to 2 points. And
So
right,
you're thinking it's going to be about 5. Let me ask you, what was the line on the Ohio State Clemson game?
I think it was 7.5. Clemson was a 7.5, 7.5 or an 8-point favorite against Ohio State.
So you can actually win a game as a 7-point underdog.
No, you can win a game as a 20-point underdog. You know,
Thank you very much.
Ask the New York Jets when they beat the Baltimore Colts in Super Bowl III. I think it was 18, but yeah, I mean you can win a game as a huge underdog. Absolutely, you can.
I'm still waiting for that 28-point line in the Bucs game. So
yeah. Good luck trying to find that one.
Hey, whatever happens, let's as Bills fans, and good luck to the Chiefs. I hope they stay healthy, but I sure as hell hope they lose. Half the fans are going to be miserable, and half the fans are going to be ecstatic.
You know what? I'm not going to be miserable.
It's the nature of sports,
Tony. I got to be honest with you. I'm not going to be miserable. If the Bills lose on Sunday night, will I be upset?
How they lose.
Will I be upset? Yes, I'll be upset if the Bills lose on Sunday night. But I'm not going to be miserable. I as far as I'm concerned, what Buffalo's done this year, from this point on, it's gravy. If they win on Sunday and go to the Super Bowl, obviously I'm going to be ecstatic, and I would love for the Bills to win 2 more games and get a Super Bowl championship. That would be fantastic. But I'm not going to be as distraught as I was after Super Bowl 25 when Buffalo should have beaten the New York Giants. There was no way they should have lost that game, and they were the better team, but they wound up losing the game thanks to a brilliant game plan by Bill Belichick, who in later life continued to haunt the hell out of the Bills.
The teams that, and I started to make this point, and I forgot to make it weeks ago. The teams that the Bills have trouble with are the physical teams, and they've found their way through that this year. The Pittsburgh Steelers can play them competitively.
Yeah.
I worried about the Ravens because they are just nasty physical.
Yep.
The Titans game this year, physical. And another physical game that they fought through was, and won big, was the 49ers game. That 49ers team is physical up front.
They are. They absolutely are.
And what about the Cards? They played the Cards really well. That's another game they lost this year. The Cards are a very physical team.
Yeah, and if Buffalo gets past Kansas City, Tampa Bay and Green Bay are both physical. So it'll.
You don't see Kansas City as a physical team, do you?
I don't think they are. Honestly, I don't think they are.
That was my point. That was my point. I worried about the Ravens bad.
Yeah.
And I think the Chiefs got a big break when Cleveland went and beat Pittsburgh.
Well, I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly because I think Baltimore and Kansas City would have been that would have been a rough tumble type of game. It really would have been, and I think that whoever won that game would have been pretty bruised up for the AFC title game, and maybe that's the case with Buffalo because that was an extremely physical game that Buffalo and Baltimore played.
Well, I can't. You know what? The sad thing is, I can't hate Kansas City regardless.
No.
Reed. You can't hate Reed. You can't hate Mahomes. You can't hate Kelsey. You can't hate their offensive line.
They're a fun team.
Really they're a well put together team right now, and I just hope the best for the Bills.
Yeah, they're a fun team. They're the best team in the AFC. They're the defending Super Bowl champs, and if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. So let's have some fun.
Sorry to interrupt. I did hear an analogy that somebody was talking about Josh Allen versus Mahomes, and they used Kelsey as an example. They said Kelsey, it used to drive him crazy when people used to compare him to Gronk. And who would you rather have? And their whole body of work, their entire body of work, set aside the Super Bowls, but the performance.
Well, I'll take Gronk any day of the week.
You would take Gronk over Kelsey?
I'll take Gronk over Kelsey any day of the week if I'm doing the entire body of work. Now Kelsey, hasn't been around as long as Gronk has, and that's probably the reason why I would take Gronk. But both of them are phenomenal. By the way, the news just broke literally seconds ago, and it's to no one's surprise. Patrick Mahomes has been cleared. He passed his entire concussion protocol. He will play in the AFC title game against the Bills. No surprise.
There you go. I just excuse me, I had to pick myself up off the floor. I can hardly believe that.
Yeah, I'm shocked that Mahomes is going to play on Sunday. Yeah.
No, it's legitimate. I'm not saying they did anything to get him through.
No question. It's legit. Absolutely, it is. And good on Patrick. I'm glad he's playing on Sunday.
Exactly, and good on the Bills if they can. It's better for them to beat him. You know what? We worried about the Ravens. We beat the Ravens. We worried about the Colts. We beat the Colts. You want them at their best. You don't want them at their worst.
Yeah, and you get to play the champs now.
We don't want to be the guys. We don't want to be the guys complaining that somebody speared us, and that's the reason we lost on a play in the first half of the game.
Yeah.
We don't want to be those people.
Yeah. All right, brother.
See ya. Bye.
See ya. 330-886-0813. Yeah, the news breaking about a minute or so ago. No surprise at all. Mahomes cleared the concussion protocol. He is active and will play on Sunday night in the AFC Championship game. And I got to look at the odds. They haven't moved quite yet. Maybe the news has not been around long enough for that line to move a little bit, if you will. But that's no two ways about it. That'll be interesting to say the least. But Mahomes, to nobody's surprise, Patrick Mahomes will play on Sunday. He has cleared concussion protocol. So there you go. All right, 330-886-0813. We're back in a bit. It is a Friday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms. It just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
High-res futurecast shows steady snow for the next few hours.
Still just downright cold.
It is bitter out there.
Several strong bands of lake effect snow.
Winds is kind of the big story today as well.
So if you need a more detailed winter forecast on WFMJ.com and the Storm Tracker 21 app.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
To Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
The extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. 1 quarter in the books in YSU women's basketball game. YSU taking on UIC. They were supposed to be playing Detroit Mercy. Detroit Mercy suspending their season with a bunch of players and their parents all signing a petition saying that the head coach was doing some things that they didn't particularly care for. So Youngstown State winds up playing UIC for a second straight weekend. UIC was to have played Northern Kentucky. Northern Kentucky has some COVID issues. So YSU's playing UIC. This is game number 3 between the two schools. Keep in mind, Youngstown State beat UIC the 2 games in a row, Friday and Saturday at Chicago. They are up 25-15 at the end of the first quarter. McKenna Peters with 9 points in the first quarter. Penguins shooting 7 of 13 from the floor. That's a tick under 54%. They have made 5 3-point shots in quarter number 1. They have a 10-point lead on UIC at the end of 1 quarter at Beagley, 25-15. The men will be playing UIC as well. That game will be getting underway at 5 o'clock this afternoon. And then tomorrow, the women will play UIC at 2 o'clock. The men will play UIC at 5 o'clock. And then we go from there. Tonight on the network, oh boy, do we have plenty of games tonight on the network. And you definitely need to do yourself a favor and check out all the action. I mean, after all, you don't have to pay for anything. WRS Wealth Advisors gave a very nice donation, and because of that very nice donation, nobody has to pay anything in terms of watching basketball tonight. Now, going on right now, and it's been going on for about 2.5 hours, the Josh Hepner Memorial Wrestling Tournament going on. That started at 12 noon. That is on the network. Junior high boys basketball this afternoon beginning at 5:30. Steubenville will be traveling to Edison. And that's a 5:30 start. Steubenville at Edison, junior high boys basketball. The rest of the games tonight, these are 7 o'clock varsity games. Keep in mind, the JV game gets underway at 5:30, so the varsity game could start a little before 7. It could also start a little after 7. It just depends on how fast the JV game goes. Edison will take a trip to Beaver Local. Grand River is at Cheney. Columbiana will take a trip to the river as they take on Wellsville. Crestview is hosting Matthews. Springfield will make a trip to North Jackson as they take on Jackson Milton. East Palestine travels to Leetonia. I believe this will be the second time in 6 days that Leetonia has played East Palestine. They played them last Saturday in East Palestine and beat the Bulldogs. They're playing them tonight in the Bears Den. So we'll see what happens tonight in Leetonia. Cardinal Mooney will be going to Louisville to play Louisville. A couple of YSN schools doing battle, and that should be a great game tonight at Louisville High School. Cardinal Mooney, a solid basketball team, and we'll see what Cardinal Mooney does against Louisville out at Louisville. Western Reserve is at Mineral Ridge. Newton Falls will be hosting I'm not even sure what the name of this team is. AUSY, not even sure what that is. But Newton Falls will be hosting a non-conference game. South Range is going to go to Niles to take on the Red Dragons. Girard visits Poland. Sebring will go to Waterloo to take on the Vikings. East will travel to Wick Avenue as they take on the Ursuline Irish. Lisbon is at Valley Christian. This is a game that I'm really looking forward to checking out tonight on ysnlive.com, and certainly looking forward to watching Open Look. I'm sure Mike Ackelson and the boys here in the studio will be certainly keeping everyone abreast of that game at Valley Christian High School. Valley Christian and Lisbon, two of the better teams in D4, and two of the teams that everyone's going to be looking at when the D4 tournaments get underway. Lisbon and Valley Christian. Oh, by the way, this is a league game. Now that Valley Christian is a member of the Eastern Ohio Athletic Conference, the EOAC, this is a league game. So this will be a fun game. Valley Christian High School, located on Southern Boulevard in Youngstown. It's about a half a mile away. Let me stop there. It's about 3/4 of a mile from the Southern Boulevard and Midlothian Boulevard interchange. It's about 3/4 of a mile away. So if you're in Youngstown and you're on the corner of Southern Boulevard and Midlothian, which is essentially where the old Pleasant Grove Presbyterian Church used to be, if you take Southern Boulevard, that side of Southern Boulevard, and travel about 3/4 of the mile toward Western Reserve Road, Valley Christian School is going to be on the left-hand side. About a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile from the church formerly known as Pleasant Grove Presbyterian Church. That's where Valley Christian is on Southern Boulevard. If you're coming in from Western Reserve Road, you'd take Western Reserve Road to Southern Boulevard. You'd hang a left, and you would go, I don't know, about 3/4 of a mile down the road, and it's on your right-hand side. The other game that I'm really looking forward to seeing tonight, and kudos to West Branch for putting Boardman on their schedule. The West Branch Warriors will host the Boardman Spartans. West Branch, and I've said this on a number of occasions, year in, year out, this is always one of those under-the-radar Division II type of programs. Because year in, year out, West Branch is good for double-digit wins every year. Double-digit wins. This is a good program. It's a solid program. And they're going up against a Boardman program that over the last 3 years has been, they've been good. They've been really, really good. This is a big game for both programs. Boardman they're taking on one of the better Division II programs in this area. Boardman's already played at Cheney. They've beaten Cheney earlier in the year. I'm not sure if they played Struthers or not. I don't believe they did play Struthers this year. But Boardman's played a really tough schedule. And this will be a sneaky good game with West Branch. I don't think there's a lot of people in the Mahoning Valley and in the YSN family that understand just how good of a basketball program West Branch is. West Branch has a golden opportunity tonight to show everybody, not only in the Mahoning Valley and in the YSN country, they have an opportunity to really show everyone in northeastern Ohio just how good of a program the Warriors program is. I'm going to be real curious to see who winds up winning this game. And I don't believe in not very often at least, I don't believe in moral victories. And, a loss is a loss. But if West Branch were to play Boardman and keep it within 5 points, even if West Branch doesn't win, but they're able to keep it within 5 points of Boardman, even though it's not a win, it's a really good showing. It's a really, really good showing. Now, if they can beat Boardman, obviously, you're sending a message not only to the folks in the Mahoning Valley, you're sending a message directly to the two teams that we have talked ad nauseum about when it comes to Division II basketball, the Struthers Wildcats and the Cheney Cowboys. Look, if West Branch can beat Boardman tonight, you have just sent a message loud and clear to the two best teams, or the two teams that we perceive to be the best in Division II in the Boardman district. A West Branch win over Boardman just basically says we're every bit as good as you guys are. And I think this is going to be a fascinating game tonight. I think it's going to be a very fascinating game. And kudos to West Branch for putting Boardman on the schedule. Look, the league that they're in, Marlington is a very good basketball team. You get Carrollton, you have Minerva, you have Canton South, you've got Alliance. Alliance has already beaten West Branch once. They're a solid basketball team. Not to mention the fact you got Salem in there. It's a good conference. It's a good conference. To add to a competitive conference, you're going to put in a really good Boardman team in your non-conference schedule. Kudos to West Branch. And I've been saying this for a long period of time. In any sport other than football, because in a normal year, football does not invite every single team in the state of Ohio. You only get, until recently, the top 8 teams in each region. This coming year, in 2021, when we fast forward to September, not too fast because I like my spring and summer, but I digress. When we go into the high school football season in September of 2021, the OHSAA is going to expand the playoffs to 12 teams in each region. But it's still not every team in the state of Ohio gets an invite. Look, this past football season, an anomaly. You'll never see that again unless we have another disaster. You'll never see every team in the state of Ohio invited to a playoff format. You'll never see that again, barring another disaster. You'll never see that again in high school football. And it's the only sport in which only a certain amount of teams are invited into the playoffs. In every other sport, come one, come all, everybody is invited to the tournament. Whether you accept the invitation or not, that's on you, but every single team is invited to the tournament. My point in all of this is real simple. If you have a solid basketball team, or a volleyball team, or a baseball team, a softball team, whatever sport, if you have a solid team in whatever sport, not only should be you have your league schedule, okay, and depending on how good your league is, will depend on how tough your non-conference schedule should be. But if you're solid, and I'll use basketball as an example because it's basketball season. If you have a really solid basketball team and you believe that there is a very good chance that your team makes a lengthy tournament run, you owe it to your team and you owe it to the players on the team to challenge them. You owe it to that team to challenge them, to beef up the non-conference schedule, because here's the reality. It ain't football. Everybody's going to go to the tournament. And I've said this ad nauseum, and I'll say it again. I would much rather have a team 17-5 or 16-6 that has been challenged, that has played a really tough non-conference schedule, that has prepared them for a lengthy tournament run. I would much rather have a team 16-6 very much prepared for a tournament run than a team that finishes 20-2 or 21-1 that had a schedule that was the equivalent of stepping over a newspaper. Because that team that finished 20-2 or 21-1, they're not prepared for the tournament. Oh, they'll probably win a couple of games, and they'll probably get to the district semifinals. And depending on how tough the district tournament is, they may very well get out of the district tournament. But come regional tournament, they're dead in the water because they weren't prepared. They played a bunch of gimmies. They played cupcakes. They played nobody. If you have a really good team, why would you play a bunch of nobodies? Now, if your league is good, okay, the league might prepare you. But even if your league is really good, still got to play some non-conference teams and get everyone really, really prepared for the tournament. As far as I'm concerned, I'll take a 16-6 team, that has played a really, really tough schedule because guess what? Come tournament time, oh man, are these guys going to be ready? Because they've seen the best of the best. Sectional tournaments, we've played teams 50 times better than this. Well, we're more than ready. District tournaments, we've played teams better than this district tournament. Regional tournaments, well, hey, if we get through the districts, we've played some teams that are very comparable to these teams in the regional. Hell, you might have played a team that you wind up playing again in the regional, depending on where you played a game. Give me that battle-tested team. Give me that battle-tested team with the rugged schedule any day of the week and twice on Sundays against a team that has played a bunch of nobodies, a bunch of marshmallows. Give me that battle-tested team. That's why I think the teams that challenge their kids, all things being equal, and you can't predict injuries, but all things being equal, that team is going to be so prepared for the upcoming tournament trail. So when I look at the West Branches and I look at the Lisbon's played a really good non-conference schedule. I look at the McDonald's. I look at the Ursulines. I look at the Struthers. I look at the teams that have challenged their kids and played some really tough non-conference opponents, not to mention the league that you're in. They're set to go come tournament time. Now, again, all things being equal, you can't predict injuries. But I'll take, all things being equal, I'll take a battle-tested 16-6 team to the tournaments long before a 20-2 team that didn't play anybody of significance, didn't challenge their kids. Because in the long run, that 16-win season, that 16-win team will go further in the tournaments. I firmly believe that. The iron sharpens iron. And I love when teams challenge their team. And believe me, this game tonight at Beloit, this is a challenge for West Branch. This is a really good non-conference game for West Branch, and I applaud them. And I applaud Boardman for taking this game as well, because West Branch is a damn good program. This is going to be a fun game tonight in Beloit. It really will be. All right, we'll wrap this bad boy up. It's a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Back in a bit.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit WRSWealthAdvisors.com. Good luck, athletes!
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well-appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Just a reminder, tonight at 7 o'clock, WRS Wealth Advisors presents Open Look. Mike Ackelson and the fellas live in the Palacious Palace, otherwise known as the YSN Studios in East Palestine, Ohio. They will have all kinds of fun stuff pertaining to high school basketball. They'll be looking in, hence the term open look. They'll be looking into a number of high school games tonight across the Mahoning Valley. We will talk on Monday, noon to 3, Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet, Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Have a great weekend, everyone. Power Hour is coming up next with DJ and the fellas. They'll take you through the rest